Hey, this is Kaya Michelle, and I wanted to just get into it. I see a lot of harm versus hurt going on within our society, but we have to become able to recognize what is harming versus hurt. When you're harming something, first of all, you're intentionally doing damage. You know, it's just like when people are spouting their opinions about a subject or a person, we always have to be mindful that they may have an intention to hurt or an intention to harm. You can harm someone's reputation, and that is based upon the intent to injure, to cause damage. And that happens a lot in relationships. It could be sibling to sibling. It could be parent to child. It could be lover to lover. So we have to always be mindful to know the difference between a hurt and a harm. And there is a difference between hurt and harm. See, I can hurt my finger, but then I can harm you with my words. I can speak in a way to make you feel a certain way. I can cuss you out. I can yell at you. I can scream at you. I can say you're no good. I am harming you. I intentionally said those things to harm you. So I want us to become not better hearers of the word, but better listeners. Because when you listen, you develop a skill to know the difference between when someone is hurting you and when someone is harming you. And a lot of times, there's more harm did in communication between two individuals than someone actually hurting someone. Because words are containers of power. And when you intentionally want to harm someone, you've thought about it. You came up with a scenario. And see, if I just bump into you and you happen to fall, that was not intentionally. But if I stick my foot out and cause you to fall, then that's intentional. I thought about it. I wanted to harm you in any way possible. I wanted to cause you some pain. I wanted to injure you in some capacity. And we have to always be mindful that when we're engaging in conversations with people, when we're in friendships with people, when we're in relationships with people, even down to work environments, you have to be mindful of the words that you are consuming, that you're allowing people to speak to you, because those words may be intentional to hurt or harm. A lot of negative words always start with, you ain't nobody, you stupid, you're dumb. Those words are meant to harm and hurt you. You know, as a parent, if you want your children to respect you, then watch the words that's coming out of your mouth, because your kids are going to repeat everything. Always call your kids by their names. Apply principles and standards, but never intentionally cuss your kids out to harm or hurt them. And that could be said about your friend, your spouse. We have to begin to elevate our communication where we're not causing harm and hurt. One is intentional and one is accidental. But we must begin to identify those things. And how we identify those things is not hearing ourselves speak, but listening to what we're saying when we're communicating with ourselves, because that self-talk can hurt and harm you also. When you have allowed yourself to take in and that self-negativity that causes you to downgrade yourself or see yourself in a negative way, that's hurt and harm too. And don't stay any place where respect has left a room. It is no longer being served as a delicacy at anyone's table. Never stay where you are tolerated. Never stay where people are hurting and harming you. Never agree with abuse in any form. Today, I'm just talking about the verbal way that we must begin to identify the hurt and harm, the words that come out of your mouth, how you say it, the tone, the attitude behind it, the intent to inflict hurt and harm on an individual based upon what's coming out of your mouth. You know, it says life and death is in the tongue, and believe it so. I wish I could do a survey to find out how many people are actually in prison because of what someone else has said or what they said that caused an action, a negative reaction. Not a response, but a negative reaction. Because I know a lot of, I hate to say it, a lot of females use their mouths to hurt and harm, especially in relationships. Mothers use their mouths to hurt and harm. Fathers use their mouths to hurt and harm and wound their children. We have to become better. I'm not a news watcher, but I did watch the hearings in reference to TikTok. And that's a good example. They never let him speak, but the words that they spoke was causing harm and hurt. They were hurting the users who use TikTok, and they were harming people, livelihoods, and it's intentionally being did, all because of control. Control. And most of the time when people are speaking in words and in tones, that's about control. They want to harm you. They want to hurt you based upon their ability to control a situation, a circumstance, or even you. So I just want you to be mindful to identify the hurt and harm and move accordingly. Choose better tools to speak to one. If you're angry and mad, step away. Do not say anything. Step away, calm down, and then come back. If you cannot speak reason, then you step away again and you bring someone else in to mediate where there won't be hurt and harm. And if you are someone who grew up in an environment that people were always hurting and harming each other verbally, and it causes discord and disrespect within the family unit, and you go out into the world thinking that's how you're supposed to govern yourself, and it's really doing more harm than good, I would say, hey, get into counseling, retool your toolbox, and learn to be better. But we must stop the hurt and harm by the words that are coming out of our mouths. And on the other side note, have a great day.